If this isn't the closest hitting tier list, I don't know what is. Hello, you majestic stallions and stallionettes. Today we're going to be ranking the Genshin characters as retail workers. Now, I'm sure if you've ever worked in retail, this is going to get pretty relatable real quick. But if you haven't, sit down and get comfortable. So real quick, the tiers are the employees of the month, the always talking to the customers, the hides from the customers, the verbally or physically fights the customer. You know, the cops have to be called every now and then. And the goes on break and never comes back. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first up, we have the Traveler. Now, right off the bat, the Traveler definitely strikes me as employee of the month. But the thing with retail is once you're there for more than 3 months, your effort values go from 100 to maybe 20% on a good day. So with that in mind, I think they'd start as employee of the month, but eventually they just get tired of everything. And they just go in the hides from the customer. Yeah, I think they know all the good spots to hide too. Yeah. Albedo definitely strikes me as the type who's too good for retail. I think he'll only get this kind of job if he needs a little extra cash and is feeling adventurous. But after a day, I think he'd just go on break and never come back. He'd realize, yeah, I'm too good for this. No, thank you. Next, we got Amber, pretty standard employee of the month. She would be the type to always help the customers, and she'd also do all the other jobs like stocking the shelves, doing inventory. Yeah, employee of the month. Very simple. Ayaka? Ooh, would she be always talking to customers or employee of the month? So the difference is employee of the month is the type to do everything, while always talking to the customers is distracting yourself with the customers. So I'll put her an employee of the month then, because I think she's an all-arounder. She's used to helping the clan, yeah. Next we got Barbara. Ooh, I can imagine she'd be really popular with the customers. And I feel like if she was on the same shift as like Lumine, all the customers would just gravitate towards Barbara. And eventually you'd have to tell her, go hide in this one spot. But I think she would still be an employee of the month. It's just every now and then she'd get bombarded too much and you'd have to cover for her. But she'd still be amazing. Yeah. Next we got Beidou. Oh no. Beidou's definitely the type to give it her 100%. But at the same time, if a customer comes up to her and some customers will snap at you, be like, excuse me, I need help. I feel like she would just, yeah, let me shove that finger up your... Yeah, putting it nicely, I think she might fight a couple customers. And maybe the law enforcement Ningguang would have to step in. But yeah, now she'd get into some beef. Bennett? Okay, Bennett strikes me as an employee of the month. Because in a job like this, where you're getting, you know, $10 an hour, effort is 90% of the battle. Just because he's unlucky and you might need a cleanup in aisle 7, doesn't mean he's gonna get fired or anything like that. Because you're retail. If a manager sees you working hard in retail, they're gonna be like, damn, we got us another sucker, yeah. But he'd be an employee of the month. Next we got Chong Yoon. I think he'd be very socially awkward with customers, but all the customers would still try to go up to him because he looks very nice. But with that in mind, I think he would hide from customers. I think he'd go in the warehouse, find some place behind some pallets, pull out his popsicles and just be like, only 2 hours left till the shift's over. It's okay. Yeah. D-Luke? I think D-Luke would be an employee of the month. Ooh. Okay. D-Luke would be the type to have the best work ethic, and he'd be the new guy. And as the Traveler, you're training him, and you realize, wow, this guy's amazing. We need to keep this guy. And then it comes time for break, and he'll just be like, hey, I'm just gonna go take my 20, okay? And you'd be like, yeah, that's fine. Come back soon. And he'd leave, and you would just never see him again. He would realize he's too good for this, and you'd just be like, another one bites dust. Yeah, employees do this a lot, especially if they're new. Diona? Ooh, wait. Diona definitely seems like the type to criticize a customer's buying habits. Like, she would see you buying bootleg Febreze or something, and she would be like, what? Can't even afford real Febreze, peasant? Diona would definitely start some, not physical beef, but verbal beef, 100%. Next, we got Fischl. Okay, Fischl seems like the type who might get fired, but besides for that, she would always be talking to the customers. I think a customer would come up and be like, excuse me, miss, and she'd be like, how may I serve you, my fair retainer? And they'd just be like, oh, I'm gonna go ask that nice looking lady over there, actually. The only reason customers would be with Fischl is if no one else was on duty. But in terms of everything on this list, she'd always be talking to customers. Yeah. Next we got Ganyu, the employee of the month without a doubt. I feel like like any other employee sees you working hard and they're just like, girl, you're making 10 bucks an hour. You can relax. And she'd be like, no, I have my contract to fulfill to this establishment. And you're just like, girl, this is a Walmart. Yeah, she'd be employee of the month. Hu Tao? Ooh. Hu Tao's the type to try to upsell with everything. They'd be going to the cash with some Kleenex only or something. And she'd be like, sir, do you need anything else? Maybe some dish soap, maybe a new cabinet for your nice garage. Yeah, Hu Tao would try to upsell no matter what it is. She would try to do her best with that. Yeah. Jean definitely strikes me as employee of the month. She probably has a good balance of doing jobs like stocking shelves and helping customers, but very simple one. She would eventually get promoted to manager too. Kaya's the type to talk to customers. I feel like he's the type to waste his entire shift. He would have shelves to stock, but he'd spend his entire shift talking with ladies. They would just be like, oh, do you know where the dish soap is? And he'd be like, aisle 4. Do you want me to go with you? Yes, that would be Kaya, 100%. Kashing strikes me as very to the point. Ooh, I think she might verbally assault some customers. They'd be like, do you know where the light bulbs are? She'd be like, yeah, it's over there. And some customers, man, I swear, they're like, oh, can you come with me? I'm not sure where it is. And she'd be like, are you blind? Do your eyes not work? Yeah, she would get into some beef, 100%. Klee is too young to work, but if she was, she would always talk to the customers. And all the customers, they would come into the store to buy something and they would just see Klee and completely forget about it. And I think she would like to go on walks with the customers around the store. Like the type of thing that would make Kashing mad. Klee would just be happy as an escort around the store. Yeah, I like that. Lisa would be employee of the month. Debatably, you can put her in always talking to customers, but I feel like if she doesn't like your face, she would want to get you out of her hair. She'd be like, yeah, it's over there. Okay, bye. But if she likes you, if you're someone like Jean, she'd be like, hey baby, let me show you. Do you have a list? Let me go around with you and show you where everything is. Next we got Mona. Now Mona definitely strikes me as the type who's 100% only there so she's not evicted from her apartment. With that in mind, I think she would put in a lot of effort because she can't afford to lose the job. But at the same time, I think she would be really good at hiding from customers. I think she would be similar to the Traveler. Debatably employee of the month, but she would definitely get tired of people. Customers would just come up to her, Myth, I need help. Like in her mind, she would just be like, I want to freaking kill myself. But outside, she'd just be like, yeah, sir, I'm gonna help you. It's okay. Yeah, that would be Mona. Ningguang, I feel like is the type to either be employee of the month or verbally degrade the customers. She would be so high class working at a Costco or something. And the customer would come in like a hillbilly or something. They'd be like, hey girl, you know where this is? And she'd be like, look how you're dressed. Reconsider your life choice. And the hillbilly would be like, what's your problem, girl? Yeah, she would either be employee of the month, but I feel like she's very judgmental if you're not properly sophisticated. So I'm gonna put her there, yeah. Noelle is the employee of the month. She already is an employee of the month in-game, canonically to me. Even though she's not technically an employee, but I don't care. She would be the employee of the month regardless. Next we have Chi-Chi. This is weird, but I think Chi-Chi would be employee of the month. Because I think she would have a really good familiarity sense with her surroundings, and all the customers would go up to her being like, young lady, do you know where this is? And she'd be like, yeah. And she would just go with them around the store while also tidying up. I think Chi-Chi, weirdly enough, would be a good employee. This is weird. Razor's the type that I think he'd be an employee of the month. However, eventually he'd just fight a customer. I think a customer would insult one of his fellow co-workers. They would go up to Aether and just be like, ugh, does nobody know anything around here? And then they'd go to Razor. They'd be like, yes, you. Do you know where the Kleenex is? And then Razor would be like, you just insulted friend. And he just start attacking them. Yes, Razor's the Giga Chat. With that in mind, Razor would fight the customer, yes. Sucrose, ooh. I think Sucrose would hide from the customer. She's too timid to be in a retail setting, man. I think she might help them really well if they caught her. Like they'd see her hiding behind the bike rack. They'd be like, I see you there. Can you help me for a sec? She'd be like, what do you want? And then I think she'd be a good helper. But overall, she'd just try to hide from the customer, yeah. Tartaglia, I think is the type, if he sees maybe a bodybuilder come into the store, he'd just be like, hey man, how you doing? The bodybuilder would just be like, can I help you? I'm just trying to get something and get out of here real quick. And he'd be like, that's fine. When you're done checking out, want to meet me in the parking lot? Yeah, I think if he saw a strong looking customer, there'd be a whole encounter with them. Yeah, it'd be really cool, actually. Venti's the type, I think he would preach to customers. And I think he'd be very good at socializing with them too. The managers would see Venti talking to the customers and they'd be like, Venti, you've been talking for a while. And then the customer would be like, oh, he's just helping me, sir. Please don't attack him for anything. Yeah, he'd be really good at persuading the customers and also helping them. So I think that's a good spot for him. Zhang Lin, ooh, she's very outgoing and social. So with that in mind, I think she'd always talk to customers. And I think customers would go up to her and be like, what's that cute little bear you have right there? Xiao's the type who I think would have a sense of duty to his local Walmart. But after a while, I think some beef would occur. A very rude guy would come in asking for a manager. Xiao would be like, I can help you, sir. What do you need? And he'd be like, did I ask for a little short man? No, I asked for a manager. Where's the manager? And then he'd be like, I'm the manager, and just impale them with his spear. Yes, Zhao. Jing Cho, ooh, I think he would just get this as a side hustle as he's focusing on his writing career. With that in mind, I think eventually he would just be like, I don't need this anymore. I'm gonna be an author. Why am I working at a Walmart? Yeah, Jing Cho I think would walk out on a break and just never come back. Next we have Jin Yan. I think Jin Yan would be a really good employee. Actually, yeah, she'd be an employee of the month. She's very social. She'd be like, how can I help you, partner? You got everything you're looking for? Well, at the same time, I can imagine her doing her job really well. Yeah, simple one there. Zhongli. I guess he would, similar to Ganyu, have his contract to the establishment. But at the same time, I could also see him just walking out and never coming back. Would Zhongli just walk out? Yeah, he would walk out, but he wouldn't intend for it to be rude or anything. He would just be like, I'm gonna go get some tea and go on a nighttime walk. And you'd just be like, but you're still on shift. And he'd be like, okay, anyway, have a good day, young man. Yeah, 100% where I see Zhongli being. Next up, we have Rosaria. See, the thing with Rosaria is I think she probably would have a really good work ethic, and I don't think she would really physically or verbally attack someone. Weirdly enough, no, I think she's more than likely to go on a smoke break. Yeah, similar to D-Luke, it would be her first day or something, and she would give you really weird vibes, but you have to respect the work ethic. And then she asked to go on a smoke break, and you're like, oh, okay. And then you never see her again. Yeah, that would be Rosaria. Next, we got Eula. See, the thing with Eula is her sass is just her normal way of talking. So I can imagine a lot of customers being like, who do you think you're talking to? Where's your manager? And Eula would just be like, I'm just talking normally. What is wrong with you, plebeian? Yeah, in that sense, it would be a verbal fight, not with Eula's intentions, but it would be a bit of a verbal squabble, yes. Yan Fei is such a social person. I feel like she would go up to customers and start talking about the most obscure topics. Like, she'd go up to a customer dressed as a construction worker and start talking about the law. But the thing is, she's so enthusiastic that anyone can get behind a conversation. And yeah, I think she'd just be a very talkative employee. She might do her job pretty well too, but she'd get a little sidetracked, I think. Kazuha would either be employee of the month, or he could just be the type to not get tied down by work. I feel like he'd go up to the boss after his first day. The boss was like, so you did pretty well. How'd you like it today? He'd be like, the wind is calling me. And the boss would be like, all right. And then he'd just walk out and you never see him again. Yes, Kazuha would do that. Yoimiya, oh my god, the social queen. Bro, anyone. The thing is, Yoimiya's perfect for retail because when someone would be getting mad at Yoimiya, the thing that you should never do is match the energy. If they're screaming at her like, it said you had 3 in stock online, why is there none here? She would just be so lighthearted and be like, oops, my bad. It's just, you know, the system has problems sometimes. And yeah, that's the perfect thing. Never match a customer's grrr energy, and she'd be perfect for that. Sayu. Okay, Sayu is tricky. She's either gonna be that goes on break and never comes back, or hides from the customer. Ooh, okay. She'd be hides from the customers. She'd go to the warehouse because most retail stores have a warehouse in the back. She would just go in the warehouse, climb to the highest shelf, and just nap. And nobody would know where she is. And then the shift ends and everyone's clocking out. You just see her. You're like, so where were you all day? She would just be like, oh, I was helping that guy over there. And you'd be like, okay. Yeah, she'd be really good at stealth. Raiden? Ooh, do you think Raiden would straight up murder a customer? It's tricky. I don't want to just go straight to the fact that she'd kill a customer, but she would most likely murder a customer. Yeah, someone would come in on a bad day, complain to the employees, because you know, getting mad at employees for your personal life is something customers do a lot, and it's wonderful. It's amazing. And I can imagine Raiden just being like, I don't care about your problems, and they'd be like, where's your manager? And as they're saying that, they just get decapitated. Yes, Ren would kill a customer. Sarah has a very good self-control. She's very strict and mean-faced, but I think she would be employee of the month. Yeah, she'd be really good with helping people out. She'd be good with stocking the shelves. I think she'd be a really good mix of everything. She just looks a little cranky, but she'd be fine. Kokomi is another employee of the month. Yes, she has a very soft-spoken voice that I imagine customers liking a lot. Like if a customer comes up to her and they're like, I am very upset right now. Where is your light bulbs? She would just be like, yeah, so it's right over there. And they'd be like, I'm sorry for getting mad at you. See, I was just having a bad day. She'd be like, it's perfectly fine. And she would do her other tasks. Yeah, Kokomi would be great. Aloy, employee of the month. She seems very normal, and I think she can handle a job pretty well. That's it. Toma, yo, we're just getting employee after month after employee of the month. Toma already has a very good way of handling people's BS. And that is the most important trait of having in a retail environment. So yeah, he'd be very good at keeping everything organized, and he'd be good with helping people. The perfect mix. Ito. Wait. Ito. Oh, this is tricky. This is so tricky. Would he assault a customer? No. Maybe? Yeah. See, I think he has a mix. He'll have customers. He'll be like, hey, bro, you need some help? And they'll be like, yeah, bro, I need some help. But if someone comes up to him angry, I can imagine him just being like, dude, shut up. No one cares. Don't you know I'm Arataki numero, Ito? See, it's a mix between these two. I don't think he would physically assault a customer, but verbally, I think he would, yes. Goro might be an employee of the month, unless there's a customer like Yai that comes through the doors, in which case he would hide from them. But I don't think every customer is similar to Yai, so I'll put him in employee of the month, yeah. Shinha, ooh, yeah, she would kill somebody. Bro, she almost killed someone in the whole US story arc for being a little rude. Retail people, they're 100 times more rude than that one guy. Nah, people, there would be bodies in aisle 700%. But I would forgive her, she's awesome. Yunjin, ooh, would she be a talker or would she be an employee of the month? She would be an employee of the month, I think, yeah. She's very good at talking to people, yes, but she's also very proper, punctual. She has a lot of good traits that I think would just make a good employee at mostly anywhere, I think, actually. I think eventually she would have to leave to follow her dreams, but I don't think she would just walk out on a break because she's too polite for that. Yeah. Next we got Miko. She's either the type to verbally degrade a customer for their life choices, or she just walk out on break. Yeah, she's more than likely to walk out on a break. Actually, it doesn't have to be a break. She just walk out whenever she wants because she is too good for this Costco. Ayato is just, I picture him being a manager right off the bat. I don't know why. I didn't say that for Ningguang or for Jean. Ayato specifically would be a manager, in which case I feel like he would be head of human resources. Yeah, and every time a customer has a complaint, they go up to Ayato and they see how dapper and sexy he is. And even the dudes would be like, what was I complaining about? And he's like, you tell me, sir. He would just be a talker, I think, in general. Yeah. Yelan 100% is never coming back after the first break she ever has. A customer would come up to her, they wouldn't even be rude. They would just ask a general question, and Yelan would just be like, you know what? I don't have time for this. I'm leaving. I could be taking a nap right now. 100%. Yelan would be like that for sure. Shinobu? Ooh, okay. Shinobu is either the type to be an employee of the month or hide from the customer. I'm actually gonna put her in hides from the customer because of her whole shrine job that she hated. And that kind of had a similar vibe in terms of helping the public. Although retail folk are extremely, yeah, they're a lot worse. So yeah, actually, yeah, she would 100% hide from the customers, yeah. Heizo would be kind of similar to Kaya. He would just flirt with the customers, I think. Two ladies would come in the store. One of them would be like, go talk to that guy. He looks cute. She'd go up to him. I need some help. He'd be like, yeah, what can I help you with, young lady? Yes, Hazel. Yeah, he would talk with everyone. Next up, we have Tainari. He would verbally degrade a customer for sure. Someone would come up to him. Excuse me, sir. It says you have 3 of these in your warehouse, but the other guy said they weren't there. What's up with this stupid establishment? And then Tainari would be like, what's up with your stupid face, you lummox? He would insult people. And funny enough, even though he did that, I don't think he would get fired because he's probably so good at everything else in terms of organizing shelves, doing all the manual work. They would keep Tainari for that. The boss would tell the customer, sorry, sir, we're gonna fire him right away. But they would keep him. They'd be lying. Kale would be employee of the month. Ooh, wait. I think she might get triggered by a customer because of her whole Vietnam flashback stick. I think a customer might, put their hand on Kale's shoulder or something, and she would just be like, don't touch me, and then pulls out her bow and starts massacre. No, she's a cinnamon bun, but I think from the type of folk that are in retail, yeah, she would snap at some point. Dory? Wait. Dory would have her own side business in the retail store. Yeah, so Dory would help a customer, right? And then under her work jacket, she would just have a bunch of illegal stuff. She'd be like, so, you got everything you need? They'd be like, yeah, thank you so much. And she'd be like, no problem. I have some other stuff if you want, if you're interested. With that in mind, I'm gonna put her in always talking to the customers because she's always trying to upsell. Nilu would be an employee of the month. She's too sweet and kind. She would never get angry at a customer. And similar to Yoimiya, I don't think she would ever match the angry mood of people. She would always be like, I'm so sorry. And I think she would brighten up customers' faces too. Yeah. Sino. Yeah, there's gonna be some bodies in aisle 4. Janitorial service, please come sweep it up, thank you. Yeah, I don't think I need to explain. Sino has a bit of a temper, and there's some very not righteous people in the retail stores. Actually, I think Sino would also criticize the managers for their poor running of their establishment. Next, we have Candace, yeah, employee of the month. She's used to dealing with people and their problems in her village, so she could deal with annoying little turds in a retail store. Yeah. Next up, we have Nahida. Yeah, another employee of the month. There's a lot of employees of the months here. And now that I look at the rest of these characters, I don't think anyone else is going up here, except for one. But Nahida would be so sweet. If you were mad when you came in the store, but then you talked to Nahida, your anger would just fly away. It would disappear. And Nahida's always so helpful and nice. Yeah, she'd be amazing. Lila's probably the type to hide from the customers, I think. I think eventually she would just get so fed up with everything, but she's the type to not show that she's fed up. Instead, she performs it via her actions, in hiding in the warehouse behind some pallets, just sleeping on a shelf somewhere. Yeah, she'd have the same shelf space as Sayu when they take nap breaks together. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Scaramouche, yeah. He'd have the entire police department at the store for sure. I don't know how this man would even get hired, but if he were to, the first customer that gives him a little lip, decapitated. And then he would just go on a killing spree, right? But he's a good kid, don't mind him. Next we have Professor Sass. You know what? She would walk out. I think Farzan is very likely to walk out because she values her time so much. She would just be like, you know what? I got better things to do. Everyone would be like, where are you going? She'd be like, are you blind? Where does it look like I'm going? I'm going home to research astronomy. Yes, Farazan would do that. Yao Yao would be an employee of the month, 100%. She's already super helpful. No one could stay angry when they see her, similar to Nahida. Self-explanatory, this one. Al Haytham, also, he is never coming back after a break. He would go there with the intention of just getting some money to pay for his bills. But after he deals with some people, he'd be like, yeah, I can just work remotely from home. Let me get a job like that. Yes. Day is either an employee of the month or fight somebody. Would she fight somebody? I'm kind of debating on this one. I'm actually going to put her in employee of the month because I think she has a lot of self-control. Although I can imagine her having a little spot when she has to deal with someone who's being a little piece of caca. And she would just pace herself in that spot like, it's okay. Those orphans, they need that money. Yeah, but they, I think, wouldn't snap. She would have her coping mechanism. And when she gets home from work, I think she would be so much happier. And that would be her peace, right? Mika, I don't know much about him, but he seems timid as heck. So I can definitely imagine him hiding from any customer that looks mildly intimidating. So yeah, I'll leave him there. All right, guys, thanks for watching the retail tier list. Let me know what you thought. I didn't put a tier for characters who'd get fired because I thought that'd be pretty boring, because technically like half the characters would get fired. But with that in mind, thanks for watching, guys. Take care and have a good one.